Hi everybody. I've had a couple of questions from people who have asked, how do I look and see what percentage of a learning path I've completed on my own? I'm going through as the instructor and I'm grading the percentage that you've completed and posting that in your grades at the end of the course. But if you want to be able to check now and see what percentage you've completed to know how much you have left to do before the course is over, this is how you would do that. So I'm going to use the math learning path as an example here, but the process will be the same for the writing and learning and reading learning paths. So when I click on the math learning path, it takes me to this overview page where I can see all of the modules available. And there are a different number of modules in each learning path, but we're still going to do the same thing here. What we're going to do is we're going to create a basic fraction that shows how many topics I've completed in the learning path divided by how many total topics there are available. So the first thing that I need to do is figure out the total number of topics in this learning path. And I would do that by hovering over each module and looking at the total number of topics in each module and adding all those numbers together. So I would do 9 topics in whole numbers, plus 10 topics in the fractions and mixed numbers, plus 6 topics in decimals, plus 8 topics, plus 7, 5, 1, and 2. And I would figure out there that there are 48 total topics available in the math learning path. Now next I would want to look at the number of topics that I've completed. So in my example page here there aren't any topics completed, but these will show you you've completed 2 or 5 or 7 or 10 maybe. This will show you how many topics you've completed here. So I would go through and I would add up the number of topics that I've completed. So if I had 2 here, for example, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 6, or 6 out of 6 maybe, 5 out of 8, I would just go through and add up those numbers. So in this example, I'm going to say that I've completed 35 out of 48 available topics. And again, I would get that number by adding up how many topics I've completed in these modules here. So now I have my fraction. I have 35 over 48. And what I would need to do is just get a calculator and calculate that fraction. So 35 divided by 48 is going to give me 0.7291, and to turn that into a percentage I just move the decimal place over 2 places and I've got 72%. So 35 out of 48 for me would be 72%, and I could actually even round that up since that would be 72.9% to 73%. So in that case there I've completed over 70% of that learning path. So I've done what I need to do. So I would go through each of these learning paths and I would do the same thing. I'd click on the learning path and go through and add up the total number of topics available in each module first, then figure out the number of topics that I've completed and calculate that fraction. You can do that for each of those learning paths to figure out what percentage you're at, figure out how much work you have left to do. So there's only a couple days left in class, but there's still lots of time for you to go through and complete any of the learning paths that you haven't completed yet in order to pass the course. So don't give up yet. Use your time wisely, and good luck finishing everything in the course.